Have you ever found out the person you trusted most was lying to you? I did, on the night I kissed the wrong brother. It was midnight, and the music was loud. Suddenly, I felt a hand on my waist. I turned around, and our lips met. But when the lights turned on, I saw the wrong brother standing in front of me. He was my fiancé now, and the man I actually loved was my bodyguard. How did this happen? I thought I knew my family, but it seemed I was wrong. I met my fiancé, Alex, at a family reunion. He was charming and handsome, and I fell for him instantly. But what I didn't know was that he had a twin brother, Ryan, who was also at the reunion. Ryan was quiet and kept to himself, but there was something about him that drew me in. As the night went on, I found myself talking to Ryan more and more. We laughed and joked, and before I knew it, we were alone on the dance floor. The music was loud, and the lights were flashing. I turned around, and our lips met. It was like the whole world had stopped. But when the lights turned on, I saw Alex standing in front of me, not Ryan. I was confused and disoriented. What had just happened? I thought I had kissed Ryan, but it seemed I had kissed Alex instead. I tried to brush it off as a mistake, but the feeling lingered. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. As the night went on, I found myself avoiding Alex and seeking out Ryan. But every time I tried to talk to Ryan, Alex would appear out of nowhere, as if he was watching me. I started to feel like I was trapped in a nightmare. I didn't know what was real and what wasn't. All I knew was that I had to get to the bottom of this. I had to find out what was going on and why I felt this way. But as I looked around, I realized that I was not alone. There were people watching me, whispering to each other. I felt like I was in a fishbowl, with everyone staring at me. I tried to ignore them, but it was hard. I just wanted to escape, to get out of there and clear my head. But I knew I couldn't. I had to face whatever was happening head on. I took a deep breath and walked over to Alex. "We need to talk," I said, trying to sound calm. But as I looked into his eyes, I saw something that made my blood run cold. It was a glint of recognition, a hint of a secret. And I knew that I was in trouble. As the days went by, I found myself getting more and more entangled in the web of lies. Alex and I were engaged, and the wedding was just around the corner. But every time I looked at him, I saw Ryan's face. I couldn't shake off the feeling that I had made a mistake, that I was marrying the wrong brother. I tried to talk to Alex about it, but he just brushed it off. He told me that I was stressed, that I needed to relax. But I knew that it was more than that. I knew that I was in love with Ryan, not Alex. And then, one day, I saw Ryan again. He was standing in the shadows, watching me. I felt a jolt of electricity run through my body. I knew that I had to talk to him, to find out what was going on. I walked over to him, my heart pounding in my chest. "What's going on?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Ryan looked at me, his eyes locked on mine. "You're in danger," he said, his voice low and urgent. You have to get out of here, now. I was taken aback. What did he mean? What kind of danger was I in? I tried to ask him, but he just turned and walked away. I was left standing there, feeling confused and scared. I didn't know what to do. All I knew was that I had to get to the bottom of this. I had to find out what was going on and why I felt this way. But as I turned to leave, I saw Alex standing behind me, a smile on his face. "What's going on?" he asked, his voice dripping with innocence. I knew that I had to be careful. I knew that I couldn't trust him. But I also knew that I had to play along. I had to pretend that everything was fine, that I was happy to be engaged to him. But as I smiled and nodded, I knew that I was playing with fire. I was trapped in a web of lies, and I didn't know how to escape. As the wedding day approached, I found myself getting more and more anxious. I knew that I couldn't go through with it, that I had to find a way out. And then, one day, I stumbled upon a shocking truth. I was going through some old family documents when I found a letter that changed everything. It was from my grandfather, and it revealed a deep family secret. It turned out that Alex and Ryan were not just brothers, but they were also heirs to a vast fortune. And I was the key to unlocking it. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I had been so blind, so naive. I had thought that I was in love with Alex, but it was all just a lie. He had been using me all along, manipulating me to get what he wanted. I felt a wave of anger wash over me. I knew that I had to confront him, to make him pay for what he had done. I walked into the room, my heart pounding in my chest. "You're a liar," I said, my voice shaking with rage. Alex looked up at me, a smile on his face. "What are you talking about?" he asked, his voice dripping with innocence. But I knew that he was guilty. I knew that he had been playing me all along. And then, just as I was about to confront him, Ryan walked in. "It's time to tell her the truth," he said, his eyes locked on Alex. And with that, everything changed. The truth came out, and my whole world was turned upside down. I was shocked, I was angry, but most of all, I was relieved. I was finally free from the web of lies, free to make my own choices. And as I looked at Ryan, I knew that I had found my true love. I knew that I had found the one person who truly understood me, who truly cared for me. In the end, I learned a valuable lesson. I learned that trust is a two-way street, that you have to be careful who you trust. I also learned that love can be deceiving, that it can blind you to the truth. But most of all, I learned that I am strong, that I can overcome anything. I am grateful for the experience, as difficult as it was. It taught me to be brave, to stand up for myself. And it taught me to trust my instincts, to listen to my heart. I hope that my story can teach you the same lesson. Remember, trust is a powerful thing, but it can also be a curse. Be careful who you trust, and always listen to your heart.